So I had a major catastrophe with my baitcaster reel today, and so I'm gonna do this video and I'm gonna show you why in this video a fingernail clipper is better than your best knife. Also, so one of the good things about a fingernail clipper, you can do detail work, you can get really close, and also the way the clipper works, it's able to cut more efficiently than a knife and safer. So if you are a fisherman, don't make the mistake I made for a lot of years and prefer a knife over a fingernail clipper. These things work great. If you have a knife, you're going to cut more string than you want to cut. You also may cut yourself, and so you could do a lot of good detail work. Whereas with a knife, you have limits, especially with the cutting edge. So I'm going to restring this whole spool. So that's just what it is. I'm not going to try to save any of the line, even though it's brand spanking new. I went to cast today and I caught something behind the kayak, and so when I threw forward, it only went so far forward. Man, that looks like I might. Should I take it all off? That came off so easy. I just don't know how damaged the line is. That looks good though. That really looks good. So I was able to cut the bird nest away very easily, just using fingernail clipper. That looks like some really good line though. I don't think I need to keep on cutting. I thought I was gonna have to just restring it all up, but I mean, that looks really good. Yeah, I think I'm gonna just leave that on there. I'm not gonna restring the whole thing. Yep, so I'm gonna get my rod and just reconnect it like that. But it looks good. The line looks good. That saved me 30 minutes right now. But what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna swap rods. I told y'all, I think in the video I did, that this little finger rest makes this a baitcaster rod. A rod for a baitcaster. This is the baitcaster. But this is medium action. And I think I'm gonna swap. I should be sleeping, but you know how that goes. And this is a medium heavy rod. So I think I'm gonna put this rod in real combo together. And eventually I'll just get a different baitcaster for this particular rod that I had this reel on. So I have two rods, and this particular rod right here, I'm gonna put the baitcaster on this one because it's medium heavy. And the other rod that's made for a baitcaster specifically, that is a medium action rod, meaning this rod that I have in my hand right now currently, this rod is a lot more stiffer action, so that'll be better for the redfish that I'm trying to catch currently. So I'm going to put this rod on there, this reel on this rod. This might be a mistake, but you know, I make a lot of mistakes. I'm used to it. So now I'm gonna straighten it up. Now I'll show you this part. I'm sorry. So the reason I like a bait caster also is because in the boat you don't have to worry about it getting damaged. You know, it can handle it. You can just sit it down and go. You don't have a bail to worry about being delicate with. Put my gold spoon on this one because, like I say, this is my redfish target rod. And is this line frayed? Let me take some of this line off. So the thing about fishing, I threw a lot in the marsh today. I couldn't cast to save my. I couldn't cast, you know, at all today for some reason. Today was just a very off fishing day. Had a lot of challenges to try to overcome, and those things happen. But you should feel your line like that in between your fingers, and you should feel for frays. And if you feel a fray, stop. Cut the line, get rid of it, because you'll save yourself a lot of aggravation. Because at every laceration in your line, no matter how microscopic it is, you don't want to lose a fish because of a microscopic laceration that you couldn't see. Captain Jordan just thought it was a bad day fishing today. I don't think so. I think the fish were there. We started rather late, but I also think the water clarity was poor. It was not beautiful and see-through like it had been, and so I think that's where we had issues. We started late, so we couldn't fish long as we would have normally fished. I like at least 8, 9, 10 hours when I fish. I like to really go after them. But that's just my preference. Alright, so this rod is ready for the next adventure. Now, I don't really want to put a spinning reel on this rod because this is a bait caster rod, you know. So either I'm gonna rig up a different rod, I also got this rod off the trash the other day, this green rod. I know y'all remember seeing it, but I'm gonna take this line off this reel. This is a bait caster rod too, but I think I'll be able to use it as just like a backup junker type rod. So I'm gonna put some let's see. Just looking at my inventory. Whenever you buy a rod and reel combo, one of the best things to do is take the store-bought line off of it, because that line is typically not a line that you're familiar with, so you may not want to use it. All right, let's see. There we go. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna just loosen the drag all the way. It looks like there's tape on it. Yeah, and I'm gonna just pull that off. And I'm gonna just discard. I'm gonna just discard this line. This rod had a push button this rod had a push button reel on it, but when I picked it up off the trash, the reel was gone. It was just a rod. So, like I said, this rod is made for a bait caster or a push button, but we're gonna make it work as our trout rod. So I'm gonna bring this one on a kayak until I could get a bait caster reel for the other rod, which I'm really gambling doing that, because to have two bait casters, you better know how to throw them, or cast them, excuse me. Sometimes I use English that we use down in New Orleans, the fishing terms, but they may be different terms that other folks use depending on your locale. Throwing and casting is the same thing now. The book may be different, but we say throwing. You can say casting. I would not want a Louisiana redfish with this line right here. I'm gonna put some 14-pound test on this. This might have been 5 or 6 pound test, but it came with the pole, so it came with the reel, excuse me. This reel would be really good for like brim, perch, stuff like that. Man, I don't feel like this line go in. We're almost there. About 35 more minutes of pulling this string off. See how easy that popped off? If that redfish would have spooled you, that's just what happened. You know? Then you'll be crying to me, like I did you something. All right. So let me show you this. I always cut a little whole slice in my spool to hold my line when I'm done. Getting a little parched. Hang on a second. Excellent choice. All right, so you run your line. I need that to spin easy. All right, so you run your line through that. Now on this end, and I'm dyslexic, so I'm gonna get this wrong. But what you want to do is you want to take and put a bite in your line like this. This is the bite, and then you want to tie a knot. All right, so you want to get the knot tied, and I'm gonna show you what I'm talking about. So you want to get the knot tied with a little loop. You want a little loop. See that little loop? All right, now I'm not gonna put a safety in it, but I'm gonna clip off that little end. I'm gonna clip off the tag end. Like that. All right, now you see this little knot right there? I'm gonna take and put a bite in the line, and then I'm gonna stick it through the line through that little loop that we made. And so now I got now this will tighten or loosen, right? Just like that. Now I'm gonna take the reel and flip the bill, and then I'm gonna put that loop on the reel. Now it has to go one way. If it goes the other way, it's not gonna work. But that's what I don't remember because I'm dyslexic. So flip the bail back. Now I'm gonna hold the string and just start winding it in. It's not spinning, so I went the wrong way. Now I'm gonna show you the right way. I told you I always get it wrong first. Right. So I want the end that moves. Man, this is horrible lighting. Right. Just watch my fingers. Maybe. I want. Okay, let's see. There we go. So see this little loop? I want that on the right-hand side. I want that on the right-hand side of the knot. I don't want it on the left-hand side like this. I don't want it on the left-hand side. I want it on the right-hand side, right? And then you put the right-hand side over the spool, pull it tight, flip your bail, all right? And now you just reel it in. Did I do that? Oh, you know what? My drag is not set. My drag was too loose, so it wasn't ever gonna wind up. All right, let's try this again, man. I'm dyslexic and I don't know what I'm doing. All right, let's try this again. Tighten my drag up. So I had it right the first time. You want the knot, the end on the left side of it. How you like that? I have no confidence in myself. Okay, there we go. Now what I'm gonna do, there's a lot of different ways of doing this. Some people say there's a wrong way and a right way. And guess what? They're right. There is a wrong way and a right way. But this ain't no Reese's, so. All right, now I'm gonna set my line over here. I'm gonna put it in that skillet. It may pop out that skillet. It may pop out. So now I'm gonna just reel this in. And this is how you spool up your reel. That's enough line. See, on your spool, you don't want it to be over spooled, because if you have too much line, it's gonna be a problem. You got too much, that will be a problem. I promise you that. So now I'm gonna clip my spool. See that little slit that I made in there? Made a slit right there. I'm gonna put the line through the slit, and then I'm gonna cut it just like that. All right, now I'm gonna tie a bait on this one. Now let me just show you this. This tip broke on this rod, and they never fixed it. And I don't know if I'm gonna fix it or not. I might just try to fish with it like this. But eventually this line may get stuck around this tip that's broke. So we'll see. If it does, I'll fix it. But that'll have to be if it does. You know, so now what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna get a lure to tie up. See, what I might end up doing, I might end up making a double rig. See, these are tips. These are tips to tip kits to repair a rod. Like I could put one of these eyes on this rod to fix it, but I'm not gonna do that. I'll do it if I have to. I'll do it only if I have to. And I'll know that once I start using it. I'm gonna tell you right now, this video is already longer than it was supposed to be. But those things happen. So, had I known it was gonna be this long, I would have, did it a little different. I'm gonna go through all of this. See, right now I'm looking for, see, my little baby brother gave me this little shrimp, and you can see the tail, the action on the tail. But that's what Jordan been catching the fish on. He just had a different color than that. Do I want any of these jig heads? Yeah, I'm gonna use some of these jig heads. I don't want a double rig though. Yeah, I'm not gonna use a double rig. Tell you what I am gonna do. I'm gonna rig that other pole up next. I'm gonna put one of these babies on. I'm gonna fish with this plug, this popper plug. And how this thing works, you throw it out and you pull it and it just pops. That's what I'm gonna use. So I'm gonna tie a swivel on there. Let me get a swivel. That way I could retie it faster when you use the swivel. And I got one swivel left. Where's that one swivel? I need to really segregate these a little bit better because I have freshwater gear in here and saltwater gear. I think I have one swivel left. What am I doing with split shots in this box? All right, so I don't see that swivel. That was my last swivel. That was my last swivel. All right, so since that was my last swivel, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna jerry rig okay. Now I'm gonna try to show you this knot. It's probably the worst lure to try to show you a knot on. So you take your line and you put that bite in it like we talked about earlier. Just like that. Now I have a lot of slack in this line because of what I'm doing. Just like that. Feed it through. All right. I'm gonna pull. Let me get some more slack off of this thing. I can't get slack because I tightened up the drag so tight when I was reeling it in. All right. So let's start this again. Okay. All right. So I put a bite in it right here. And I have the bite in it. I put that through the eye of the lure. Now this other end of the line, the main line, and then this little end right here. Now what I want to do is I want to tie a knot with this end right here at that end. I'm going to tie a knot. Now I'm going to pull the knot all the way to the eye of the bait, just like that. Now, let me show you. You see that loose end and the main end? All right, now what I'm going to do, because I tied a knot, I'm going to open up. Don't do this with it. Yep. I'm going to open this up, this line up, and I'm going to put the bait through that hole that I opened up. Now I'm going to hold the line right here, and I'm just going to pull tight. Just going to pull tight. Would help if I do it on camera, huh? So let me get this away from the hook. Ooh, not my finger. All right, you just pull it tight. Some people wet it. I ain't wetting it. I've been using this knot for 30 years, and I ain't never wet it. Well, I shouldn't say never. It's rare that I wet it. Like that. And look, I'm going to tell you now, that knot is not going to break. You know? When you hear that rattle, that makes a lot of noise in the water. I'm going to just hook that on. Reel that in like that. Yep. And I'm gonna try to catch some big fish with this. So I'm gonna put this, I said I wasn't gonna do this, but I'm gonna do it because it only makes sense, you know. Because if something happens with one of those lines, I'll have a different line. So now let me see what I'm gonna put on now. Man, a cork sounds good, but a cork really does sound good. A weighted, this cork is like we call it a cigar cork, and this is my favorite cork to use because it's very sensitive to fish because it's so small. Probably one of the best corks we've ever used. I don't remember how much we spent on this thing, $8 or $9. This is a Paradise Popper, and I know for a fact my dad has caught over 100 redfish with this one cork out there in Pontchartrain. But as you can see, the metal broke right here. So all I'm gonna do is tie it to a line right here. It'll still pop, but that'll be a different video, a different day. So let me get the reel on it. I was having an issue with the reel today where this little majigum came out a few times. Whatever this little metal insert is, it came out. And I thought that was very unsettling. But this is a Pin 430 SSG. I forget how much this reel cost, but I think it was like very, very expensive. Very expensive. Pin is some of my favorite reels to use when I fish, but this reel was very expensive. It was under $100, but it was close to $100. And look at that. That's the first time I took the cap off and they got lube in there. Pin just makes a great product. I love Pin reels. I'm a fan of Pin reels. If I'm gonna spend the money, I'm buying Pin, hands down. But I don't know why this came out today, but I was gonna get a hammer and tap it back in. And see, while y'all be sleeping, I be up. So I got a little majigum. Trying to countersink it back in there. You might be wondering why I'm not hitting it like this, because I got more of a chance of hitting metal to metal like this. And I don't want to bend my reel up also. I don't want to bend the handle up. All right. So against my better judgment, I'm gonna string this one up. I really need a bait caster on here, but I'm gonna string it up, and it's gonna mess up the ergonomics of trying to reel it in. Cause see, this reel is designed. This rod is designed to be like this. But if I put this reel on it, then I'm gonna have to turn the reel to the bottom like this and hold it like this. Which I could do it, it's not designed for that. But we use everything according to what it ain't designed for, so this ain't gonna be no different. Alright, so now, since I got the reel on it, I'm gonna find the end of the string. For the 24 years I've been married, I've always had fishing equipment. And the first lady has never was like, no, you can't go fishing, you know. I'm like, baby, I'm going fishing. All right, have fun. She's never like resisted me fishing. One of my partners, his old lady used to lock him down. And then she'll tell him, don't come home if you ain't got no fish. And remember, if you don't come home, you ain't going back. That's too much of pressure going fishing, you know? Like, we trying to go catch fish, and they be thinking we out there playing. Like, nah, we're not playing. We're actually working. Hunter-gathering is not easy. That's work. We enjoy doing it, but it's work. Your body is sore. You feel it the next day. You know, it's work. But I think Captain Jordan was really disappointed we didn't clobber the fish, you know? It happens. Tell you what I'm gonna do. I want to put a double rig on there so bad. But I'm gonna get this white. I just had it. It's a white. Let's put this little white shrimp on it. Yeah, I'm gonna put this white shrimp on it. I really want to put a cork on it. So I'll just do that cigar cork with a white shrimp. That way the action, and this is, you know, I'm gonna show you the knot again. All right. Let me get a little slack. All right. So I got the line, I got the bait on the line, right? So now on the short end of your line, on the short end, see, this line is still connected to the reel. This line is the loose end. Tagging, I guess they call it. I'm gonna just push that through a little bit. And I'm gonna grab the the two ends, all right? Now the loop end, all I'm gonna do is tie a knot with the loop end right here and the two ends that aren't looped. And then I'm gonna tie that knot real close. And you see this hole right here? I'm gonna just pull the bait through. And pull the bait through that hole. And then I'm gonna grab by the knot and I'm gonna pull this slowly but tight. And that's it. That knot will not break. Your line will break first. What are you doing? Trying to take over the world, Pinky. Same thing we do every night. All right. Pull a little slack and get this in. I'm gonna put this right here. tighten that up right like that. All right, now I was thinking about it. I really wanted to put a cork on this. So I'm gonna measure off how much I want, and I'm gonna just put the little cigar cork on it. I'm gonna make sure it's weighted. So I'll show you a few corks, all right? Because you might want to know like what cork to use, what should you use, etc., 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 etc. And that is a fat little jig head. Okay, let me show you this. All right, so tsunami. I know some of these look the same. I know some of them look the same. All right, so check this out. Let's talk about corks. All right, so you have multiple different types of corks. And a cork, all it does is it floats. It floats, that's it. That's it. That's all it does, it floats. Some of them look the same, but they're different. I promise you. And if you're from New Orleans, it's like Mackenzie's, you know? Taste the difference. Now I have this one tied up to a jig head, so I'm gonna just sit that one right here. All right, so let's talk about corks. So I will say this. You have very expensive corks. Like this Paradise Popper, this thing was expensive. $9-10, something like that. Don't quote me. But it wasn't $3. I could tell you that right now. All right. Now it's designed that when you cast it and you pop it, this little channel right here, it'll move water. It'll move water. Every time you pop it, and with the beads, it makes noise, which attracts the fish, right? You remember on Jaws? All right. Now, so this would be a premium cork, right? Now on this little egg cork, you have some that's weighted and some that's not weighted, but they also come in different colors. Like this is fluorescent yellow-ish, and this is fluorescent green. Then you have orange, and then you have white, and then you have different colors, green and white, all right? The color doesn't affect the cork at all. Now this tsunami cork, at one time this was a really expensive cork, and I don't know why I still have it, but anyway. All right, but like I said, these are my favorite corks to use. This little cigar cork with the weight on it, I love them because when you fish in speckled trout, if that speckled trout just playing with it a little bit, you're gonna know. Whereas if that speckled trout is playing and you got this big old redfish cork on it, you may not know as much. So your sensitivity increases with it. Now notice the difference between these two. One of them has a weight on it. This great thing is a weight, the other one does not. So there's times when you want a weighted cork to be able to cast further. And there's time when you don't want a weighted cork. And this would be my favorite if I would be able to use it because it doesn't have the weight on it. Because when you use this weighted cork, sometimes if you have bait, depending on what bait you're using, your cork will be in the water more, and it could potentially could potentially be harder to see. So if you get one that's not weighted, it'll take a little bit more. You can use a little bit bigger piece of bait without it going under in the water. Now this is a balsa wood cork. This is wood. It's not styrofoam. And it has a little clip right here. You pull that clip down, you hook it to your line. Like you pull a clip down like this, you hook it to your line. Get out the way, thumb. And you let it go. And that'll lay down in the water. And then when the fish comes, it'll stand up. And then it'll go under, in theory. So this is for freshwater. So you have a medium-sized cork, you know. Now when you buy a cork that's already pre-tied, pre-fabricated, it's designed for you to tie it. Now what I like to do is when I have a cork like this, I'll put my own line on it and tie it to my lure. And then that way you could control the depth of your rig. So this is about 2 feet that I have this tied off to. Now what I like to also do with a cork like this, depending on if I'm using it just for redfish, I'll tie monofilament on there that's like 20 pounds, so that if I catch a bull red or a big red or a drum or a sheep's head, I have more protection right here. Whereas on my actual fishing reel, I don't want 20-pound tests on this reel. It can't handle it. So this is 14-pound test, but I'll put on my what's called a leader. This monofilament would be a leader. I'll put 20-pound tests on there, and so it'll give me the protection I need, you know, under a cork, fishing big fish. So that's just some types of corks, you know. That's just some types of corks. You know, just keep that in mind. All right, so let's put these corks where they go, their new spot. I'm just checking the swivels to make sure that I don't have no fishing line on them. Like I'm gonna cut this off because it's a good chance I'm never gonna use this cork, honestly. I just have it just in case. I'm probably never gonna use this one, but because it costs so much, eventually if I do use it, you know, it's there. Now these, what you do for these, you have a little piece of metal right there. And if you hold the bottom and you pull down the plastic, fat fingers. You see the little metal has a hook on it? It has a hook on it? Right. So you hook your line up there. Now you want it to go in a hole. There's 2 holes. You want that little hook to go in a hole, and that's how it latches onto your line. And then you do the same thing on the bottom, right? But ain't nothing like not having a cork when you're on the water. It can be the difference in catching fish and not. So, all right, that's all the corks. I'll lock that down. I'm gonna sit that on the side. Now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take out tell you what, let me get rid of this line right here just so we don't have no problems. And see, when you got a fingernail clipper, you could do detailed work better. It's safer than a knife. It really is. I don't like that, you know, I'm from that Crocodile Dundee Muchísimo thing, you know. So I kind of feel like if you don't have a knife, which I have a knife, but in the context in which I'm talking, a knife is not as good as that, as the fingernail. I'm gonna lay these boxes out because I'm gonna take this box with me on the kayak, just one box. So I want to get it laid out better than it is so that I know what I have and I don't have any issues. Since I see it, this cork goes to a cane pole. Goes to a cane pole. keep that in mind. Well, that knife is gone. Don't tell nobody though. Alright, let's see. So I'm gonna put this jig head in here with the rest of them, just to keep it more neat. I'm also gonna look at here. I saw a jig head. I'm gonna cut this one loose. And see, with that fingernail clipper, you could get right to your knot. Get right to your knot every time, you know. Every time. Now, I have this steel leader wire. I don't know why, but I have it. And I'm probably never going to use this, but I'm going to just leave it in here. I don't know why, but I'm going to just leave it in here. Because one day I might be like, oh, man, I needed that. You know how that go. So I'm going to take this jig out, this lure out, this lure. I need to get this lure too. See, Bike, I had some lures in there. All right, so let me just sit this right here. Now, all this stuff is not gonna fit. But this is the one I'm taking. Okay. So let me get this stuff out. Some of this stuff. Take these out. Take this out. I'm gonna just take the gray jig heads. And I'm gonna leave the rest of them in, with exception of these two. All right, so satisfied with that right now. If you have OCD, please don't start playing around with tackle. Now I'm gonna have to check this again. Let's see where we're at. Let me put on some color. And always wash your hands when you're messing around with fishing tackle, because according to California, you already know. All right, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna lay this out in a certain way. I know for a fact I was hand lining with this line right here. So I don't even want to put this. I'm gonna come back to this. I'm gonna come back to that. All right, so let's see. I am gonna put this one, that's 14 pound, 12 pound. I'm gonna put that there. I'm gonna put this artificial. I'm gonna put that artificial in there. Got one of these left. I'm gonna sit that right there. I don't really want to put this in here. This rod replacement tips, because yeah, I don't want to do that. I'm not gonna put that in there. I'm not gonna put these split shots. That's for my freshwater. So let's see. Let me put the lures in first. I'm gonna put this one in back here. And these tremble hooks will mess you up if you don't know what you're doing. These tremble hooks, some people say treble, like with stereos. These tremble hooks will mess you up. They're very dangerous. Don't play with them. And be gentle when you're playing with them, because if you do get stuck, you got 3 hooks. So don't pull, just take your time. Now, put that there. This little lure is called a rattle trap. You could catch any species of fish, salt or fresh, with this rattle trap. It's a great lure to have. Oh. Put that little spoon in there. I'm gonna put this one in here too. I'm just putting all my lures there. Put this spoon in there as well. I'm gonna polish this spoon eventually and put it to use. All right, now I'm gonna get this little. Okay, so let me put these jig heads somewhere. So I guess I'll put this one here, and I'm gonna put a divider in here. No, I'll just put them in there. Now I'm gonna put a divider. See, my OCD, I don't want to break one of these tabs loose to put a divider in there, but what the hell? I gotta stop, man, I gotta stop. Right. See if they'll fit like that. Perfect. And try to put your, let me show you what I'm talking about. So put all of your hooks in the same direction. It'll make things a whole lot easier when you're trying to grab out, that you don't hook yourself. And this is called the jig head. That's it. They come in different colors. Gray is a great color to have because it's neutral and it's not offensive to different varieties of fish. So just keep that in mind. You can't go wrong with gray. Sometimes they don't want red. They don't want yellow or chartreuse. You can't go wrong with gray. I use swivels whenever I'm tying a monofilament and hook to a line. So I don't really need these in here, but I don't really need them, you know, and I'm gonna regret putting them in there. But we're trying to live and let go, you know. Put another divider in there. Now, I do like to consolidate stuff. This is a 7 ounce. This is a size 7. This is size 5. In the heat of battle, you're not going to be able to, when you need a swivel, you're going to need a swivel. You're not worrying about all of that stuff, man. So I'm going to dump those out. And I should have been did that. But you know how that goes. My OCD wouldn't let me do that till now. All right. So I'm going to put these back. It's called a barrel swivel. Swivels in there. All right, so some people use beads. They use beads, and they're good to have for a few different reasons. I can't think of a good one, but they're good to have for a few good reasons. Now I'm gonna take all of these blades, and see, this is why fingernail is good. The fingernail cutter, I could get right to that knot. Remove it. Now I'm gonna put these blades right here in the front. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right. Now what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna take this spoon that I can't use anymore. I'm just not ready to get rid of it, you know? Red Ripper. I'm not ready to get rid of it. But Red Ripper, if you want to fix my spoon, holla at me. I know y'all could do it. I'm just not ready to get rid of it. I might make a little decal or something with it. All right, now as far as, this is one of my favorite soft tails to use. Queen cockerel, chartreuse. The green is called chartreuse. The actual bait is a queen cockerel. All right. Now I'm gonna put these shrimp. In here. All right. Oh shucks! I knew that was gonna happen. So why did you keep doing it? I don't know. Can't get right, boy, I'll tell you that. Alright, let's set that out the way. Now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna survey. To see what else I need to put in here. Slide that back, slide that back. All right. Got some big tremble hooks. I don't need those in there. This is the electric chicken. This is just chartreuse. Oh, I caught so many flounders, me and my dad and my brothers, with this little bait right here. Sparkle beetle. All right, let's see. I need to put this all in my freshwater stuff. Chartreuse, firetail. This was opening night. That was the color, opening night. They didn't change quite a bit. Sparkle beetle, clear and glitter is the color. I don't remember this color. This looked like opening night too, but it changed colors over the years. You know, it's electric chicken, it says. That looked like opening night. I just put it in the electric chicken package. This is some freshwater stuff. Seashell, pink ghost. I remember when I bought that. Queen cockerel. All right, let me get these little babies out. These little grub tails. All right, let's see what this is. Okay, yeah. We're gonna leave this stuff in there. We're gonna leave that in there now. Don't need that out. All right, let me just look, see. Leave these babies in here. More beads, more hooks for freshwater. All right, these are for freshwater. All right, so put that down. should have put it in here by color, but it's the bricks. So I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put these, for some reason, I'm gonna put these in it. I'm gonna definitely put this purple with the chartreuse tail. And I'm gonna put these, even though that's too many chartreuse, but anyway. Trying to have a few different colors, if that makes sense. All right, so I think I got everything I want to put in here. Right now, this is going to be my primary that I bring whenever I go on a kayak. This is my auxiliary. All right, let me figure this out. I don't really want this with me. Yeah, I don't really want that with me. Now, the benefit of this is if I make a double rig, this is the line I want. So that's what I'm doing. I'm not going to get rid of it, obviously, but... All right, so... babies in here. All right. Now, as far as this is concerned, let's see. Now, I'm gonna make this other one my fresh water. This will be my fresh water tackle. Take all these out. So I'm gonna put these little jig heads. So I'm gonna consolidate the other egg sinkers that came out the case, like my little meatball. I don't have to worry about that happening again. Put the weight right there. Let's how many pack of hooks I got. Some of these are the same. These are not. All right, let's see. Let's put this in here. Like that. And as far as these, I'm gonna put them back in the package. Put them in there like that. Put these right there, like that. Trash that, trash that. Put this cork in there because this is a freshwater cork. I'm gonna put all these little tabs like that. Now this would be my little freshwater. Oh, put the cane pole cork in there. Okay. Now let's see what I got. So this knife, it stays in one of these containers. So with all my old knives, I put them in different containers so that I always have a blade or 2 or 3, you know, on hand. Now these, I'm just gonna, I should bring this one with me. I don't want to. Because if my rod break, I could just fix it at home. All right, so next up, throw that away. Okay, let's see, so this is reserve. This is going on the kayak. Let me take this electric chicken off of y'all. Now we get to cut a braided line. So you squeeze it and then you twist it. And that's what I find is the best way to cut a braided line when it's on a bait. Another thing you could do is just straighten it out like that, and that works too. All right, so I'm gonna pick this little majigum up. So I'm gonna drop him right there. I don't know if I want to put a blade on there or not. Where's that white one at? Need that silver spoon. a silver spoon on here. Almost put my eye out. So let's see, we're gonna get a little scissor. We're gonna cut it with these scissors. You see, that's what happened with braided line. It doesn't really cut clean like a monofilament does because of the braid. And that's not a good cut, but that'll work. All right. So Pee-wee is ready. I should have put a swivel, but I ain't got none. I'm gonna have to get some swivels. But I should have put a swivel on here. That way I could have changed it easier. The problem with having a swivel, you risk the chance of it being too heavy and the swivel getting caught in the grass. That's it. That's it. All right, so I think we lined up and ready to roll for our next fishing adventure. And it's 5 o'clock in the morning. So I'm gotta figure this out. Like I said, always wash your hands because the state of California say you can get cancer from certain fishing products. Yet we still manufacture those things to be used. So, go figure. One other tip. I'll save that for a different video. This is just my basic tackle bag that one of my friends, she bought for me because she loved it. She just don't know how to show it. Traditional ways, you know. And I don't want to mess it up, but I do use it. But I don't want to mess it up. I'm going to drop this 14-pound test in here, and I'm going to drop this 25 in here. All right, now I'm going to zip that up. I'm going to pick this up and be right back. So pretty good, pretty good. Get the knife out the way. I'm gonna have to lube it up before it starts to rust. Anyway, so that's the video. The best tools you could have is a nail cutter, fingernail cutter, and a good knife. But the fingernail cutter works the best. It's fast, it's efficient, and it's the way to go. These things work great, but you gotta have, you know, the ability to use them safely. And it just makes sense to use the fingernail cutter. Alright, so that's it for the video. And like Forrest said, that's all I got to say about that. Thank y'all for supporting the channel. Thank y'all for everything y'all do. We make a good team. I'm going to keep saying that till I'm blue in the face, you know? But I think I'm going to try to get about an hour of sleep. So I'll see y'all at the next one. Thanks so much.